So, Internet. We need to have a conversation about irony. And for maybe the first time since about 1995 or so, it's not going to be about the proper definition of that word. Yes, everyone abuses it. Yes, I know what the dictionary definition is. Yes, I'm very fond of myself saying, words mean things. But you know what? Colloquialism and the evolution of language are real phenomena as well. So while irony technically means this, we all know that especially as far as the internet is concerned, irony is a word that translates to, I am enjoying this thing that isn't good because I acknowledge that it isn't good. You see this spread out over the entirety of the popular culture right now, but I feel like, as is so often the case, most of this can be laid at the feet of my own ridiculous Generation X. Popular culture had told us, repeatedly, that not much was to be expected of us. According to the wise ones, we weren't going to save the world like our grandparents' generation did, and we weren't going to change the world like our parents' generation did. We were just going to slack off. The only thing that was expected of us, or so we were told, cynical detachment. Since we were naturally expected to be equally jaded about the plastic traditionalism of our grandparents' era and our parents' stifled revolution against it, we were just supposed to lay there and goof off. Like things, dislike things, the bottom line was that we weren't supposed to be passionate about anything. Sincere affection was out, the all-purpose whatever was in. Problematically, while it was spectacularly easy to not give much of a crap one way or another about the largely disposable cultural detritus that greeted us in the 90s, we couldn't fight the forces of nostalgia, which is all about sincere affection. So how did we square that circle? We embraced irony. Of course I know this show was bad. Of course I know these things are silly. Of course I know that movie was crap. I'm appreciating it ironically. This form of irony defined a whole lengthy moment in popular culture, and a lot of it was positive. Acknowledging the flaws in something that occupies space in your psyche, mostly in the form of happy memories, is the main way we learn from our own past rather than simply repeating it. This is especially true of when said ironic appreciation goes all the way over the edge into straight-up parody. The trouble is, genuine ironic appreciation is at least partly an introspective exercise. Not simply, this is bad but I enjoy it anyway, but why I enjoy it. And it seems to me that a lot of the ironic nostalgia wave was more like an attempt to hide actual honest-to-goodness nostalgia under a cover story of winking irony. I enjoy this, but I don't want people to laugh at me for it, so I'm doing it ironically. Yeah, that's the ticket. And I worry that in doing so, we overextended a damaging, if trivial, form of self-hatred. It's the whole guilty pleasure thing. You shouldn't feel guilty about things that make you happy unless those things are, also crimes. Also, it had the net effect of negating worthwhile things that this or that movie, book, or show did accomplish, even if other aspects of it were eye-rolling. It also cheapened irony itself, blurring the already murky distinction between the two supposedly opposite types of appreciation. More problematically, at least from my perspective, this had the effect of reviving things that, to be honest, we probably should have left in the past. Case in point, the Chuck Norris phenomenon. Now let's be clear, the internet's initial obsession with Chuck Norris is the contrast between his old-fashioned macho hero reputation, its inexplicable continued popularity in some segments of the popular culture, and the fact that Chuck Norris is terrible. Not personally, I mean, I don't know the guy, maybe he's a great dude, but his movies, his TV shows, his other stuff, terrible. It's all terrible. Maybe The Octagon was good, fine, and Return of the Dragon for sure, but that's not really his movie. But the rest of it, I mean, God, remember this?
Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris, man of action. Chuck Norris stars in Chuck Norris Karate Commandos. Chuck Norris, he's got nerves of steel and strength to match. Chuck Norris with his team, Pepper.
It's too dangerous, Chuck. Wow.
Too much.
Too much.
Kimo, the samurai warrior. Reed, Chuck's teenage apprentice. Tabe, the sumo champion. With Chuck Norris, they battle the sinister forces of the Claw.
Remember this.
And the ruthless Super Ninja. Finish Norris! Chuck Norris stars in Chuck Norris Karate Commandos.
Yeah, that was real, and that's probably on the high end of the Chuck Norris scale. And while it was fun to poke fun at Norris's persona for a while there, the whole meme got so ubiquitous it actually handed him an improbable career revival, meaning that I now have to see one of the least interesting action stars of the 20th century continue to pop up in actual present-day movies and penning bizarre political columns for lunatic websites. No, really, Chuck Norris has a column, I'm not making that up. Gee, thanks, Internet, we really needed this. All I'm saying is, maybe it's time we dialed it back on the irony defense for a while. Not completely, there's plenty of room for an appropriate level of so bad it's good chuckles in your entertainment diet. I mean, I just gave an overwhelmingly positive review to this, but it doesn't need to be some kind of cover for stuff you're somehow embarrassed about still enjoying. What are we so sensitive about, after all? Life is short, like what you like. I'm Bob, and that's the big picture.